Riddel Hall on Strandmillis Road is one of my favourite Queen's buildings. Today, it is home for the Queen's Management School and Leadership Institute, as well as a popular venue for conferences and weddings. However, it was initially built as a hall of residence for female students and played a significant role in the history of women's education. Queen's was a pioneer when it came to the access of women to higher education. It became the first university on the island to accept women in 1882, with the first ones graduating in 1884. Going to university remained difficult for women, not only because of the cost, but also because, for most of them, it was far away. To study in Belfast, students basically needed to live there. The age of majority was 21 years old, and it was inconceivable at that time for women to live on their own, without the presence of parents or a husband. The lack of accommodation options was an important factor restricting the access of women to higher education. This is where the vision and generosity of two Belfast women changed everything. Mrs. Eliza and Isabella Riddle, born in the 1830s, were the youngest daughters of John Riddle, who made his fortune as an ironmonger in Belfast. At the death of their brother Samuel, they inherited considerable wealth. They are described as kind and humble women who lived relatively simply despite their fortune. They were related to members of the Belfast Ladies' Institute and donated to many good causes like hospitals and women's charities, and they were supportive of progressive ideas like women's education. They endowed a total of £80,000 over the years to establish Riddel Hall as a house of residence for female students and teachers from Queen's University Belfast. This was a huge sum of money. For comparison, Riddel Hall's first warden was paid £2 a week. Their donations enabled the building of Riddel Hall, part of its functioning, and the funding of accommodation bursaries for needy female students, which still exist. In addition to providing money, they were involved in the committee running Riddel Hall, and Eliza was a member of the Queen's University Senate. Riddel Hall was designed by Henry Lynn, who also gave us the Lynn Library and worked on the Lanyon building. It was the first student hall to open in Belfast in 1915, and the only one for female students for 40 years. It is surrounded by a 10-acre park, which used to contain a tennis court and hockey grounds for the students to exercise. It provided in loco parentis, meaning that parents were signing over their authority to the warden and whole committee. So it was proper, safe, and reassuring for parents and students. The hall fulfilled its purpose. By 1920, 14 Riddel Hall residents graduated as doctors, and the first female solicitor in Ireland was a Riddel Hall graduate. Queen's female student population grew, and by the death of Eliza in 1924, a third of Queen's students were women. The upper floors mainly contained 42 bed sitting rooms, named as such because they included a bed that was used as a sofa during the day. In the 50s, some rooms were converted to increase the capacity in response to high demand. In total, more than 1,000 women lived in the hall over the 50 years it was open. Before the introduction of electric heating, the students were allocated 3.5 scuttles of coal per week to use in their fireplace. Common rooms and facilities were located on the ground floor around the beautiful idle courtyard, which has since been covered. The library was the primary location for students to study and included a range of volumes selected by a specific library committee. The drawing room was where the fun happened, with balls and formals organized there. It was also a place to receive visitors, have casual meetings between residents, or even listen to the wireless, which was introduced in 1936. Residents took their meals in the dining room. Dinner was a formal affair, especially in early years. Students would change beforehand, enter the room in a procession behind the warden, and were expected to practice their good manners and conversation at the allocated table. The bathrooms have been refurbished, but some of the plaques about service pipework have been kept. Riddel Hall also had a fully isolated sick bay on the third floor, a music room, a microscopy room, and even a gas-proof shelter in the basement, which was used by residents and neighbours during the Belfast Blitz of 1941. Over time, the expectations of students and accommodation options eventually led to a decrease in the hall's popularity and its closure in 1975 after 50 years being opened. The building was then used by the Northern Ireland Arts Council. Its kitchens were turned into the Belfast Print Workshop, and many rooms used as rehearsal facilities or offices for the Sonic Arts Research Centre and IT support for Queen's University. In 2012, it was refurbished and a modern extension was built to host conference facilities and Queen's Management School. Riddel Hall and its rooms may have found new functions, but the engraved names of former residents and a bronze plaque dedicated to Eliza and Isabella Riddle remind visitors of the role formerly played by this special place and the generous pioneers who fought for the fundamental right of women to education.